Hello, Caroline. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm so sorry we will never get to feels like we'll never get to meet in person.
Exactly. We didn't have a chance. As you can see, after my haircut, part of the economy in Poland is still closed during the COVID. And how is the situation on your country? Is
We're
it
in
open or not?
we are in major lockdown. It's just gotten worse for us again. Like number of cases have gone up again, and I've been vaccinated, so
Mhm.
vaccinations have started, but very, very, very slowly, much more slowly than we would like.
Okay, so same as in Poland. So hopefully the summer will change a little bit the situation. But
Yeah.
going back to our environment, to the loyalty part, Caroline.
Yeah.
But indeed, I would like to start with the market, with the COVID situation that we have. We are observing a lot of changes in economy, as you can see. Trade sector and people behavior regarding COVID epidemic has changed. Customers are buying in a different way, and they also are looking on different ways of spending free time, etc. In 2019, 57% of people in Poland, of internet users, sorry, purchase online. But according to the Kantar researchers from the last month, it was 83% of all people who buy online. So the total behavior of the economy is totally changed during the COVID and the situation that we currently have. And where in this new environment, the question to you, the loyalty sector can find the new areas of development, and what are the new businesses, if there are any, who can get into the loyalty sector?
It's a great question. If I think about the sectors, I think you've heard me on the subject before. We've talked about insurance and IoT, but there are a lot of sectors that were off limits to loyalty previously because of data and also consumer behaviors like healthcare, insurance, cannabis is another in Canada. Canada, marijuana is legal, and so. Those sectors have now become interesting sectors for loyalty, especially healthcare, because obviously with COVID, healthcare is top of mind for people getting information, getting access to services, and that's an opportunity for loyalty. But also governments. So governments to reward those healthy behaviors, like finishing your prescription or change habits that could positively impact the environment, like environmental things, turning off lights, that kind of thing. I'd say beyond that, think about the B2B sector. So B2B has not had the opportunity they used to have pre-COVID, all these big events where they could sign up people and trial users. That's gone away. So the way that the sales process is managed, prospecting and building a sales pipeline in B2B has changed dramatically. And loyalty has always been underpenetrated in the B2B sector. It's always been very alive in B2C. And I think it's the last time I saw a stat, it was 12 or 14% sort of penetration of loyalty programs amongst B2B companies. I think we're going to see that grow massively because to acquire customers and to engage them with product and to drive product trials, that's absolutely going to be key. And within that sector, I'd say also SaaS platforms. So surprisingly, we think of sort of new age businesses like Uber. They don't need loyalty. Loyalty is old school. But we're seeing a lot of those businesses, they can sign up customers, but they can't keep them and they can't retain them and they can't drive continued behavior change. And so we're seeing a lot of those businesses. Not a SaaS business now, but McDonald's has just launched a loyalty program. Whoever thought that McDonald's would need one? And then I'd say beyond that, I'm thinking of other SaaS examples. Might be TikTok rewards is another great example. Why does TikTok need a reward program, you would ask? Beyond that, though, I do think CPG, which has been a sort of a constant refrain for me, I believe that CPG is going to break out into loyalty in a significant way in the coming years. There are some sectors, obviously, places like Nike, athletic wear, clothing, that their loyalty is already deeply penetrated. But food, when you think about a grocery store might have 40 or 50,000 SKUs, how are those CPGs going to establish one-to-one relationships or any kind of relationships that are direct with customers? And I think loyalty is a key part of that.
The really interesting part, as you mentioned, is the government sector, and then the medical one, of course. Government sector, do you have an example of such a loyalty program already existing in your country or in any other part of the world?
Well, in my past life, we did a number of studies and pilots, essentially, with the government on things like healthy living. So getting people to exercise, getting people to, certainly the environmental thing. I'm also thinking of, I know in Europe you have this, we don't have this here yet, where you track the speed at which somebody drives between point A and point B.
Yes.
And you're able to do that through sort of satellite systems. And then rewarding people for driving according to the speed limit, because that is a matter of public safety.
Yeah, the same with the insurance company who already started to use this knowledge to offer you best price.
Right. So governments are probably the three areas. They're already have signed up. Here in Canada, there were a number of pilot studies that were done on environmental, and those were government subsidized. So getting you to do more recycling, getting you to use alternative products that had less of an impact on the environment.
Caroline, let's move a little bit not to the market, but to the user and the customer profile that is changing also in this new environment. People use loyalty programs more and more, at least in Poland. But what is more important, participants of loyalty programs are showing more and more activity in the programs. It means that currently more than 40% of them are very active users. It means that they are up to date when it comes to the status of the program and knowledge what they already achieved in the program. As the latest data shows, as many as 36 of Poles who sign up for the loyalty program have never experienced redemption. That's the negative part of the loyalty programs. For comparison, among the participants of loyalty programs in the United States, it's only 16%. And regarding this part of the loyalty ecosystem that we are living in, and customers' behaviors, where is the loyalty most effective in shifting people behavior? And where should companies shift their investment into loyalty, or they should not?
Yeah, I'll give you the short answer, and then perhaps the more strategic one. The short answer is companies have always focused on the quick win that comes from using loyalty for customer acquisition. And if you are the CFO of that company, you're quite happy if there's no redemption. So I used it to get more customers to come to my business or try my business, especially on things like, food delivery. It is an opportunity for restaurants to acquire new customers. And those customers like the idea of a loyalty program, but they're not necessarily going to investigate what the rewards are when they sign up. They just sign up and they trust that they will get a reward at some point. Mm-hmm. So I would say a couple of things. One is, I think companies need to shift from, putting more of their investments in customer acquisition to customer retention and engagement. Number two, and probably more importantly, is personalization. So the name of the game, especially now with, the Google decision to drop cookies in 2022, companies need to get first-party data, and they need to become more strategic about using that data to personalize the experience. And by that, I mean personalizing the communications, personalizing the channels on which that customer likes to operate. Are they mobile or are they email? Personalizing the offers that are going to drive and lift the business, so getting you to spend more or more frequency, and of course personalizing the reward and understanding the types of rewards using the data that customer is most likely to redeem for. And so, I sound like a broken record, but it always comes back to data now more than ever. That companies, if they want to drive that full cycle of collection and redemption and increase customer spend, increase customer engagement, increase customer retention, what we're going to have to see them do is make a real case for collecting first-party data and using it, and using it to make the experiences maybe not one-to-one, but very differentiated for one customer versus another based on their behaviors.
So I have the same feeling, and all research in Poland present the same situation. So personalization is a king, and people do expect the personalization. People know that they are dealing somehow with the data, with their own data, but they expect that based on this data, the personalization will appear. So this permission marketing is more and more important. I totally do confirm we have the same situation, and we observe totally the same. And Caroline, about the technology, the third thing I would like to discuss with you is the technology. We all know we are society 5.0, which is open, innovative, and collaborative. We know that many customers, especially the wealthier ones, who spend more, go shopping only with the phone. Smartphones is a Pole's best friend. 95% of respondents declare that they take their phone with them when they are leaving home. But it's not only the mobile, but also the gamification, the expectation of Generation Z, the permission marketing that we sent previously. So the technology that stands behind my analytics or analytics of me. How does the new technology change the loyalty business? A new technology transforming customer loyalty, or it's just shifting to a different communication channels?
Yeah, I think the obvious answer, and then I'll move from there. The obvious answer is that multiple channels creates more complexity. Because for the operator now, you need to figure out, where do I want to get my offers? Where do I want to get my reward communications? And there's the whole level of contextual marketing that is now made more complex, because I need to be contextual across multiple channels. And you're exactly right. Customers just expect that whatever you know about them in mobile, you know about them on every other channel. And so I don't think it changes. In some respect, it is just another channel. And marketers just need to manage like another channel, but they do need to connect what that customer likes to do in that channel. And it's not the same. Email is a very different, communication. And I think, I guess the second thing that I would go to is, you talked about gamification. I think loyalty marketers in the past have maybe been lucky in that they could put out an offer, double your points, or, spend 25, get 50 points, pretty standard offers, and customers would react. But what we're now seeing in mobile, and it really comes to the fore, is customer experience management and journey management. And so we're seeing essentially the merging of what was loyalty and what is customer experience. And now a loyalty operator needs to design an experience for that customer, a journey for that customer. And that customer is going on that journey across multiple channels. So you can kind of see the complexity of it. But with most of my clients now, the loyalty conversation starts with journey mapping, life stage management, customer lifetime value. Those are all sort of bring a third dimension to how you manage a customer across channels. And it's a very interesting, I think a very fun one is, how do you gamify your offers? It's no longer spend 25, get 25. It's, how do I create a challenge for you? You know, look around the corner, play a game in the store, try and find 3 products, and I'll open a Pandora's box of offers for you. I think it's going to demand a higher level of marketing and inventiveness and creativity of customers to keep it interesting, while still balancing the more difficult thing, which is customers don't react well to complexity. So the problem with gamification is it's complex. It can be complex. People don't read the rules. People don't read at all, honestly, anymore. And so you can't make it complicated. It has to be short spurts of fun. And those short spurts of fun can't be games for the sake of games. And I have worked with loyalty programs where they gamified everything and they had no ROI. Mm-hmm. It has to be games that drive positive purchasing behavior. And how to do that in a way that is nuanced and subtle and doesn't feel awkward is that's the new creative challenge for marketing.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. As a MasterCard, we did a research with Harvard Business Review, and the research shows exactly what you said. So the value collected by user, if it's 50%, 10%, if it's 10,000 points or 100 points, it doesn't matter. The way how we communicate, the way how we present loyalty program, the way how we use data and build the customer journey, that's the future of the loyalty.
Yeah.
You say about.
I have if you'll allow me, I have one quick point though, just on technology too, and that's that we know that trust in marketing, trust in advertising has gone down dramatically over this period, and even pre-COVID, but it's not getting any better. And I think there's an emerging area in loyalty around advocacy. So taking those loyal customers and having them do recommendations, referrals, essentially create content that is going to attract other buyers and is going to be considered more trustworthy than advertising. And so I think that's a new development, is how do you monetize your best customers? And there are platforms, advocacy platforms, community platforms. Customers want to talk to other customers. They don't want to talk to marketing. And so I think it's unleashed a lot of very interesting new technologies and platforms to bring customers together, like-minded customers together, and have them create content that invites other customers to join.
And if you are looking what's going on worldwide, do you have an example of loyalty program that is totally innovative, outstanding, that addressed what you said? Is there any good example that appeared last year?
Well, I would say they're probably still in development. So if you're talking about advocacy in communities, I mean, I think it's interesting. Salesforce has just become a loyalty provider, and they are an example of the kind of company that has all of the data for their clients. And so they would be able to enable a strategy like that. I can't think of a program, but I can think of an enabler. I think Salesforce might be one of those examples because they will have all the cross-channel data. They'll have recommender data. They can drive that back to the prospect base. But I think that's still in evolution. I had never, I'll be honest, I'd never even heard of advocacy and communities.
Mm-hmm.
And I never connected them to loyalty even 3 years ago. And now every advocacy platform has a loyalty component built into it.
Great. Regarding KPIs, you mentioned about the ROI. Do you think that ROI of loyalty program is the best metrics that we should use in loyalty business, or it should be rather ROI of the whole business?
I'm kind of a dashboard girl, if I'm going to be honest. I believe that the loyalty operator and marketing should be operating from a loyalty dashboard. And it's not going to be one metric. It's not going to be net promoter score. It's not going to be one loyalty score. But I think it's made up of 5 parts. So it's the first part is brand affinity. That net promoter score might solve, or if you have brand score, how much do they love you? How much do they trust you? That brand affinity is key to engagement. I think the second one is activity. How much do they go to your channels? How many channels have they signed up for? Are they on mobile? Are they on the app? Mm-hmm. So all the measures around activity are key indicators of engagement. The third one is probably going to be the bread and butter of ROI, which is customer acquisition, customer lift, lift in spend and frequency, and lift in retention. Those are the drivers. And maybe new product trial, the drivers of financial ROI. Mm-hmm. Then there's going to be the loyalty operator KPIs, and those are going to be how much, points collected, points redeemed, penetration of program. Those 3 are key.
And how to measure if loyalty program already support the business?
Yeah.
Or not?
I think that does go back to the enterprise. You have to have loyalty customers compared to the average customer or compared to others in their segment. And ultimately, I think the most strategic loyalty operators are thinking of loyalty as part of the engagement ecosystem. Mm-hmm. And so they're really measuring engagement. And loyalty is just a vehicle, a mechanic for getting that engagement. But if I were the CFO of the company, I would not just be asking about the ROI of the loyalty program. I would be asking whether my investments in loyalty are more or less effective than other places I spend money to engage customers. And if they're less effective, you have a problem to solve. So you are going to be compared to all the other ways, customer experience, journey mapping, you get to the end of the year. Do I build a mobile app or do I put money in my loyalty program? You're going to have to be able to show that money invested in your loyalty program drives higher engagement than adding another channel.
Mm-hmm. Great, Caroline. That's all from my side. We had only half an hour to talk. Unfortunately, not live. Unfortunately, you were not able to join our panel, so we have no women in a panel. So I'm so proud that we had a chance to talk. At least this way about the loyalty business, and hopefully next year we will be able to see live and in person. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. It was a pleasure.